Hey guys, sorry it's been a while. This semester has been absolutely awful. Not only that, but I've been sick literally on and off all of this semester. And, I've been struggling with a lot of, personal issues. Like, I don't want to go into specifics because I don't want to, start crying or anything, but just, things with me and, how I feel about myself and things like that. I've been having a really hard time with that. And, it has something to do with you guys, and I want to thank all you guys who have been interacting with me on Facebook and Tumblr and all that stuff and talking to me. I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot. And it's been helping because a lot more people have been kind of talking to me lately, and it's keeping my mind off of things, and it's helping. It really is. So thank you guys, if any of you guys are watching. But the purpose of this video is that I wanted to share the things that I've learned with cosplay. I know I've made similar posts about it before. Might have made similar videos. I don't really remember. It's been a while. But I just wanted to have a kind of a solid, concrete list for my experiences in hopes that, if someone's, saying, well, why do you cosplay, you don't really learn anything from it, you can maybe take a couple of these and use them to kind of respond to it. Not saying fight about it. Don't fight. I hate fighting. Don't do that. But I know I have some family and some of my friends that don't quite understand why I cosplay, or they're not huge fans of it just because they think I don't learn anything from it. They think it's just a waste of money. But to me, it's not. I've learned so much that it's hard for me to put into words, so it's just easier for me to speak it. Hopefully, I don't mumble too much. So first off, is the basics of sewing and alteration. You might not think it's that useful of a skill, but for me, my clothes rip all the time, just because of, the way I am. And a lot of girls' clothes aren't made to be that sturdy anymore. So, it's been really helpful to know that I know how to fix it. I actually found a jacket in one of the rooms I clean at work, and, somebody had left it because it had been ripped and torn, but I actually managed to fix it, and now I wear it. You wouldn't think it'd be that big of a thing, but it kind of is. Especially because now my family will ask me to sew things, and I fix, my little sister's princess dresses and stuff, So it does come in handy, and, not only that, but you kind of understand how things are made and why they are the way they are. For me, that's something I've always found fascinating, whether it be about clothing or, something, why is this kind of blue? I wonder things like that, and it's nice that I can actually have that foundation and be okay, this is probably what they did, this is probably why they did it. But, I'm a weirdo. That's just kind of what happens to me. So next up is a bunch of different skills put together. Exciting title, I know. But, that kind of includes, patience, time management, determination, perseverance, kind of all those things, the nice little things that, nice little words for, nice traits and compassion and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. But, for me, I'm not gonna, deny it. I'm a poor college kid. I don't have a lot of money. But I learned over, the past couple of years cosplaying on how to time manage, how to manage my money, because I do set money aside for cosplay, but it's not as much as people think it is. I usually, set aside small amounts and just kind of build up over time, kind of like a bank account would. But, I also do a lot of shopping, during sales and when I have coupons and things like that, to help offset the cost. But you learn how to do those things. I never knew how to use a coupon. I never knew how to do those kind of things until I started cosplaying. In terms of time and scheduling, I have a job, I'm in college, I'm in a lot of organizations on campus, so I have to know how to handle everything and, when I can do things. Cosplaying has really helped that because in high school, I never really had to worry about scheduling that much. So, trying to plan out what we were doing during conventions, what our plans were, trying to figure out what's going on, it really does help because it's helped prep me for this, so I'm not as overwhelmed as what I normally probably would have been. Also, just with time management, you kind of learn a lot of things about yourself because you know kind of what you can handle, what you can't. For me, I've learned I work really well under pressure. I work better when I have a set deadline and it's approaching fast. That's when I push stuff out that tends to be pretty decent. It's not always the case depending on the costume, but I work better under pressure. I work better having that hanging over my head. That being said, not all people work that way. So that's just something that you learn and you have to start taking into account. And especially for me, since I do so much, I have to know what I can handle physically, as in how much sleep I need. Me, I cannot function on a couple hours of sleep. I have learned that, and I've been pushing my limits a lot lately, and the last couple conventions I've went to, but I know that's not the case, and I really need to stop, and I'm trying. But I know I need between 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. If I don't get that, I'm cranky and grumpy as all get out. So I know what I can handle. I know what my limits are, and I have to be able to schedule around that. Because if I don't get that, I'm no fun to be around. You can ask Momo or any of my friends. They will gladly tell you. One of the things I didn't include in the former list is organization, because for me, I've learned a lot about that. Whether it be, finding space for your cosplays, because we all know we have a bunch of things that we don't use except for cosplay. And not only that, but how to manage a group, how to keep them organized and on track. In terms of space, I've learned a lot of how to pack a bag. I never knew how to pack it, efficiently and properly until I started cosplaying, because I had to figure out where to put things and how to make it fit in one bag if possible, which usually doesn't end up happening. But it does come in handy a lot. Not only that, but organizing things in totes and in closets and stuff. You learn a lot of nifty little tricks. And when it comes to leading a group, you really have to stay organized in order to keep everything straight, because you don't want to make people angry by asking the same question 300 times. And people change when they go to conventions, whether it's for the good or the bad. That's really up for debate. I know I get kind of grumpy and stuff when I'm at conventions unless I'm around, people. But once I get tired, I get really grumpy. There's certain things about people you learn, and you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're planning things, because you can't pack someone's schedule full of things to do. If you kind of are figuring out panels that you guys want to go to, photo shoots, you have to know who needs that and who doesn't. For me, I enjoy doing all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I get exhausted and I get really cranky. So I've been learning that I kind of just need to take it easy. I plan everything to space it out. But it's the same way for my friends too, trying to figure out what all we want to do together, what all we want to do separately. It's just a really neat and helpful kind of little thing to do, especially when you're applying it to something that's not cosplay related. I led a group that just finished up this past week with our big project that we've been doing for 2 years. You wouldn't think that you really know how to do it until you sit back and you're like, yeah, I did that. I managed to get all these people together, and we managed to produce something awesome. So that's just something that I hope you guys can take away from cosplaying too. Speaking of people, you learn not just, basic people skills, but you meet a lot of friends. In terms of the actual skills themselves, you have to be able to deal with awkward situations, and if you're not familiar with it before, you will be. Because we all know, we've all heard these horror stories, but, that's not always the case. Sometimes you just get a random awkward person that you don't know how to deal with. But the more that more times you're put in that situation, you understand it, and you can handle it better. For me, I don't really handle a lot of stress well, but I've been getting a little bit better at it, because I keep putting myself in that situation, and also, I have my friends and stuff to help me, and I've learned a lot of things about myself and how I can deal with things and with people. For me, I'm a quiet person, so being around people is not my forte. I don't really like it, but it's becoming a lot easier for me to manage, and it's a lot easier for me to interact with them now than it would have been 5 years ago. In terms of friends, I don't think people realize how close you can get to someone. Being a cosplayer, we I don't want to say all of us, but just kind of in general, the ones that I've met and the ones I'm really close with, we all kind of have the same basic foundation where, there's been one person or a group of people, or just normal society in general, that kind of makes fun of you, pokes fun at you for doing what you love, for doing something like cosplay. And it hurts, but, we overcome that, and we still do it anyway. But having that kind of, for a lot of the cosplayers that, I know, and for me personally, we all kind of have that same basic foundation, so it kind of just brings us one step closer just because we have that experience. And in some cases, you deal with it together, so it just brings you closer together as people. And not only that, but you can be nerdy with cosplay friends, because you know how nerdy they are. You're just as nerdy, 2 peas in a pod. There are certain things I can't say to certain people because they think I'm weird, or they just don't see me that way. But when I'm with my cosplay friends, or friends that, that I have that are really close to cosplay too, oh my god. We get nerdy, we get crazy, and it's just a lot of fun. But those kind of friends are the friends you really want to have. I can't count on 2 hands how many close friends I have now that I made because of cosplaying. I've made so many, and they're all very dear to my heart, and I adore them so much. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I've learned so much just from being around them and being their friend that it's helped me grow as a person. And I'm hoping that people can take that away from it too. But I'm really hoping that everyone has that chance to make those awesome friends and get really close with them, because I have so many of them now. I can't imagine my life without them, to be completely honest with you. I can't. So, I don't think I've touched on this yet, but so our next category will be creativity. My idea of creativity is it's kind of like a tool. If you don't use it for a while, it kind of gets rusty, it gets dull, but the more you use it, the sharper it gets. When I'm usually during the summer when I'm making costumes, my creativity is at a peak. I'm willing to do other things like make videos, write stories, write fan fiction. Like, I just become a more creative person. And when I stop doing that, like when I'm at college, I don't really get the chance to do that often, so it kind of sits back and it gets really dull, and like as a skill, I mean. And so when I start, doing cosplay stuff again, I have to work myself back into what I was before, because it gets kind of because I haven't used it in so long. Again, that's not everyone's interpretation of it, that's just me personally. But I mean, just the more you use it, the more sharper it gets, the more creative you get. Like, I've been using more household things and more things like that to do my costumes, and I'm really excited because it's really awesome when you finally make something and you're like, somebody asked me how to make it. I already have this, like, little speech down pat, especially for cosplay judges, because that's what gets you noticed sometimes. Like, Momo made my necklace for Princess Tutu. It's just a necklace and a binder divider that's kind of like see-through almost. That's pretty much all it is, and a couple of beads put together. Like, you wouldn't think that would work, but it really does, and it's really pretty, and that's one of my favorite pops that she's made. So, using things like that really can help you get your mind going. And not only that, but it keeps you kind of on your toes, because you're always looking, like, oh, I could use that for this, I could use that for that. Like, it's just, I notice a lot of cosplayers have that kind of sense, but it's just like the more you cosplay, the more it kind of happens, I guess. So, because I am in college, I have to take a speech class. And because I've been doing panels for so long, and I've been talking in front of, 20, 30, 40, maybe 100 people, and performing in front of hundreds and thousands, I'm a lot better at being in front of people than I used to be. I'm not 100% yet, don't get me wrong, I still get way nervous, but it has helped me a lot. Kind of how to handle yourself in front of people. You learn what works and what doesn't work in presentations. For my speech class, I really didn't have to try that hard because I've been doing panels. Like, I knew that, certain things you should and shouldn't do, and how to work PowerPoint and all that kind of stuff. Like, I already had that basic stuff because I've been cosplaying. Before I took that class, I had never taken a speech class in my life, and I aced it no problem because of everything I've learned through cosplaying, doing panels, and going to panels even. If you're not comfortable being in front of people, go to other panels. I highly encourage it. As a panelist, we want people to come because it makes it more fun for us. Just doing a presentation or doing a panel with only 4 or 5 people is not that fun. It really isn't. So I highly encourage you, if you never went, just try it once. And even if that doesn't work out, try it again. Not every panelist is the same. I can promise you that. A lot of people generalize, you go to one bad panel, it kind of ruins the entire thing. But it's really just, it happens. Like, there are bad panels and there are good panels. And when you're scheduling these, you don't know if a person's good at it or not. So, just take it with a grain of salt. Just try it. I mean, go to different panels. Go to different topics that you've never heard before. You'll learn some really interesting things. And heck, you could win if you're in a trivia match. I don't know. One last thing that I kind of want to mention, which will be our last category, is criticism. Because I've been a lot more active with my Facebook and my Tumblr and my DeviantArt in terms of cosplaying-wise, you get a lot of criticism, not just from people that are trying to help you or trolls. I'm saying, like, cosplay judges too. Like, actually, mentions, you'll get comments from people, good or bad, but you learn how to handle them. For me, I never used to take criticism well, and I still don't, but I'm getting a lot better at it because I've been exposed to it more. And my first thought of when I get criticism is that, you're attacking me personally, whether it usually only happens when it's bad. But, you just kind of have to take a step back, breathe, and just process it. But also take it with a grain of salt, because everybody's ideas are different. And heck, if they're a troll, their opinions. But, everyone has a different vision of certain characters or certain things in their head, so we all have a different way of doing things. So don't take it personally if someone comes up to you and gives you a different idea or a different way to try it, because 9 times out of 10 it could actually help. I'm not saying all the time, but the few comments I've gotten from, you know, cosplayers that I really adore and idolize, like, I've learned a lot from them and from their comments, and I took them and I ran with them, and in most times it actually did work. So I'm grateful for those comments, especially when they're being sincere and they're genuinely trying to help you better yourself. Because cosplay isn't a competition, but for me, I want to get better at it. I don't want to stay the same. And I have grown. Looking back from where I started, it is a lot different. But not only that, but the cosplaying scene has drastically changed. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying to better myself. I want to be the best that I can be, like no one ever was. But it's just something that happens. You're gonna get criticism, good and bad. You just gotta be able to deal with it either way. I've learned from me online, I usually, if it's negative, I try not to respond anymore, just because I don't want to start a fight. I hate fighting, and it makes me really stressed out and nervous and jumpy, so I try not to. But it's just a few things to think about. So that's all the categories and things that I wanted to say. If you guys have anything that you think could be added to this video, please leave comments below. I will be happy to look over them. But I kind of just made this to show people that I know that aren't huge fans of me cosplaying or why I do it. I have learned a lot. I really, really have. And not just things I can use in real life, but about myself. And that's what a lot of it is. So I just want to share that with you guys. Just in case you get into a debate or something, or the same kind of topic comes up for you, you'll have some knowledge, some points you can bring up. So I'm out. Bye.